Hvala vam. Dobro večer svima. Okupili smo se na središnjem okruglom stolu međunarodne konferencije Nove emancipacijske borbe. Prije nego počnem, moram reći da kao i svake godine na štandu možete naći studentsku skriptu, a sva predavanja upravo zahvaljujući Skripti TV, dakle i ovaj okrugli stol, ali i predavanja od prošle godine možete naći na internetu, na stranici slobodnifilozofski.com, kao i na YouTube-u, a i Super Film Festival će osigurati snimke svih događanja. For those people who are not from Croatia, on the entrance of this room you can find headphones for simultaneous translation. Oh no, it's the other way around, we will speak English and... So, I will continue in English. This meeting is at the same time a promotion of a book we did together. Unfortunately, only Samir, Amin's and Slavoj Žižek's texts are included in this book, and maybe I will start from the title of the book. So, when we started the book, the title was, and still is, The Meaning of Maghreb. But as you can probably see, or you will see later, there is a map on the book, and you can see Western Sahara, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, but also Egypt. And I think this cover says already a lot about the uprisings in the Arab world. Why? Because we still have the same title, Meaning of Maghreb, but we have Egypt, which is by definition not Maghreb. And why does it say a lot about the uprisings in the Arab world? Because the uprisings were so fast and unexpected that we didn't even manage to create a decent title for the book. So let me introduce my guests. You all have internet and Wikipedia, so I will just name the guests, and then if you don't know someone, please Google them, because we don't have a lot of time and we should use the time for the discussion. First of all, I must say and apologize, our guest István Mészáros is not here because of illness, and if he will watch us later on YouTube, I say hello to István, and please a big applause for him. But instead of István Mészáros, we have our good friend from Egypt, right to me, Mamdouh Habashi, who came just from Egypt and is very active down there in the movement, on the streets, and I think it's very good he is tonight with us. On his side, on the right side, please applause. On the ultra right? On the
our left.
But in any case, you are the opportunist center.
No, that would be me probably, but okay, I'm alright.
Center left, center right.
Yeah. So okay, Slavoj Žižek. So it's a deja vu that the last year we had the same discussion on this stage, and I think you were also in the center, and Slavoj Žižek is too smart to be on the right and then he's on the left again. But okay, Samir Amin on my left side, you already know him. Besides Samir Amin, he arrived just today, and tomorrow you can listen to his lecture. He was in Zagreb, probably some of you had the opportunity to listen to his lecture. David Harvey. And of course, you had the opportunity to listen yesterday to a lecture and to follow today the book promotion of liquid modernity. On the far left, Zygmunt Bauman. So okay, after of the introduction we start. The concept of the round table is that we don't have opening statements. We start right away with a question, and each one of you can intervene at that point of time. My first question goes, of course, to the Egyptian comrades, and as you can see, we cannot see, but we can turn around. Behind us is a picture from Egypt, and of course the origin of this round table and the origin of this conference were the uprisings in the Arab world. So my first question to Samir Amin is, in some of your previous talks you mentioned that the real origin of the Arab uprisings isn't only in Tunisia or Egypt and so on, but that it can be followed back also to Indonesia, to Latin America, and that we can speak about an outer global movement. So if you can say more about it, and do you really think, for example, yesterday Slavoj mentioned, and I think all of us would agree that Libya is a sort of renormalization of the situation. Do you think that these uprisings, not only this on this map, but also Yemen, Syria, and so on, could create an outer globalization movement?
Thank you, Srećko, and good evening to all of you. Well, if you ask 12 questions, don't ask me to answer in 5 minutes. So I'll make a top selection and be very, very short. One, the movement in the Arab world, and particularly in Egypt, is one of a series of movements of revolt of the South, of the peoples of the South, the victims of global imperialist capitalist system, which started in Latin America before, in Nepal, which took different forms, and now which spread through the Arab world, and will continue in other regions. Now, this being said, I would say that with respect to all those movements, please do not accept the view presented by the dominant media, the spring of the people for freedom, making parallel with what happened in Eastern Europe in 1990 and the following years after the fall of the wall of Berlin, etc., etc. The movements which happened in Eastern Europe, and they were very important, whatever they were in the situation pro-capitalist. What is happening in Latin America and the Arab countries are huge movements anti-capitalist. That is fundamental, and therefore the comparison makes no sense. Now, in the case of Egypt, to be sure, the components of the movements are the politicized youth, organized and politicized, which are on the left. The radical left, which in the case of Egypt are the communists. The democratic middle classes, I'm not saying capitalist class, middle classes, and supported by the workers' movement, the 53 or 57 independent trade unions, which went on strike since years and years, and are on the left, and the movement of small peasants resisting to expropriation by the rich peasant, which are on the left. These are the components. None of these components is a rightist force and is pro-capitalist. It doesn't mean that they are socialist. It means that they are in conflict with the logic of capitalism. Second, when you say that the explosion was unexpected, it was not unexpected by the Egyptians. We expected it since years and years, and there were indicators of that. Third, the targets of this alliance of political forces are, one, the democratization of the society, which is not just accepting the Western blueprint of pluripartism election, and that's finished after it, at all. Second, democratization associated with social progress, not with social regression, which implies, and this is said vocally, World Bank, IMF, USA out. That is not necessarily immediately and completely socialism, but it means a conflict with capitalism. And third, national independence, anti-imperialist position, it is being said, US aid to the Egyptian army, out, stop. No basis, no military cooperation, and by the way, also another attitude to Israel expansion in Palestine. So this is clear. Now, but the battle is not going to be a battle of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 6 months. It's going to be a series of a long wave of struggle, as usual in the history of Egypt, among other. That is because it is faced by a very strong and consistent reactionary bloc. The class basis of each being the Egyptian bourgeoisie lato sensu, which has been which has reinforced it through neoliberalism, state corruption, and so on, billionaires in dollars, and the rich peasant, which in the history of Egypt have been a reactionary class, are a reactionary class, which is proceeding to expansion of their wealth through the expropriation of small peasants. They are the basis of political Islam, of the Muslim Brotherhood. And through them, because their sons and daughters are an element in the composition of the middle classes, also with an influence, strong influence in the middle classes. Now, they have political instruments, which are, among other things, the head of the army, but also Muslim Brotherhood as a reactionary political party aligned to the system. When it is presented that the Muslim Brotherhood were the opposition to the Mubarak regime, this makes any Egyptian laugh. Because the regime since Sadat and Mubarak gave up to the Muslim Brotherhood 3 major institutions of the state: education, through which the veil was introduced; justice, through which Sharia was introduced; and television. Now, a government usually doesn't give to the opposition those 3 major elements of the society. Now, the battle, therefore, is now and is ongoing, and will continue to go between the, I would not say, even if we call it so in Egypt, and you will understand that this is it is normal to call it so, the revolutionary forces, but say the forces of the progressive democratic social movement on the one hand, and the anti-revolutionary, counter-revolution, and we call them on the other hand. This is going to continue for, well, and later perhaps I could come on some more precision. Thank you.